Step foot inside any deer camp or shooting bench across this great nation, and you are bound to stumble into the ultimate argument. What is the absolute best piece of brass to send downrange? Look, we all know the legacy cartridges that put meat in the freezer year after year. But the ballistics engineers haven't been sleeping, and they are out there defying physics with some serious modern innovation. Right now, we are breaking down 5 absolute monsters of the modern firearms world. These are the projectiles delivering surgical shot placement, devastating kinetic energy, and the flexibility to dominate anywhere from heavy timber to wide open valleys. I don't care if you have been pressing your own loads since the Reagan administration, or if you just picked up your very first precision rifle. You need to pay attention to what these cartridges bring to the table. Let's dive into the rounds currently taking the industry by storm. Number 5, 338 ARC. Kicking things off in the number 5 slot, we have a highly specialized piece of hardware that is completely flipping the script on suppressed operations. I am talking about the 338 ARC. If your mission profile requires ultimate signature reduction without giving up bone-crushing terminal performance, this is your huckleberry. The mad scientists over at Hornady engineered this specific cartridge from the ground up to run flawlessly inside the standard AR-15 chassis. Historically, running heavy subsonic loads meant you were basically lobbing rocks with terrible expansion. The 338 ARC completely eliminates that compromise. You are launching massive 300-grain class projectiles with incredibly high ballistic coefficients at roughly 1050 feet per second. Think about that kind of payload cruising just under the sonic barrier. For the tactical guys running night vision, or the hardcore thermal hog hunters, this is the holy grail of setups. Throw a quality can on the muzzle, and you get a signature as quiet as a staple gun, but it hits the target like a runaway cement truck. Whether you are building out a gas gun or tuning a short-action bolt rifle, it is the perfect bridge between absolute stealth and ethical, one-shot performance at close to medium engagements. Now, because we are talking about bleeding-edge technology, factory brass is still catching up to demand. You will mainly see Hornady and a handful of boutique loaders pushing this out right now. Naturally, premium engineering demands a premium price tag. Plan on dropping anywhere from $65 to $95 for a box of 20. But when absolute silence and raw power are mandatory, the 338 ARC answers the call. Number 4, 7mm Backcountry. Moving up to number 4, we are packing our gear and heading up to the high country. This is the 7mm Backcountry setup, fully utilizing the legendary power of the 7mm Rem Mag. This configuration is purpose-built for the alpine hunter, who shaves ounces off their pack weight like their life depends on it, but absolutely demands magnum capabilities. Anybody who has ever chased bugling elk or big mule deer across steep, nasty terrain knows exactly what I mean. Your rifle needs to carry like a feather, but deliver a devastating hammer blow at 500 yards and beyond. When you chamber a rifle in 7mm Rem Mag, you are harnessing one of the most laser-flat trajectories in the history of ballistics. We are sending 139 to 175 grain projectiles tearing out of the barrel at upwards of 3,000 feet per second. Take that flight path and drop it into a highly specialized rig like the Weatherby Mark V Backcountry 2.0. That is where the magic happens. You get aerospace-grade carbon fiber furniture, aggressively fluted barrels, and highly tuned muzzle brakes to soak up the kick. It is a simple fact of physics that featherweight rifles want to punch your shoulder. But modern mitigation tames that beast beautifully. The best part? The logistics for the 7mm Rem Mag are practically bulletproof. You can walk into almost any hardware store and find Hornady, Nosler, Federal, or Remington sitting right there on the shelf. From deep penetrating monolithic copper to classic bonded soft points, you have options. For top-tier match-grade hunting loads, expect to hand over $55 to $85 per box. It truly is the gold standard for high-altitude hunters who need extreme reach without the back-breaking weight. Number 3, 25 Creedmoor. Sliding into the number 3 spot, we have an absolute scorcher that has the predator control community buzzing. Enter the 25 Creedmoor. This is a prime example of a garage wildcat project exploding into the mainstream spotlight. The ballistics gurus basically took the undisputed king of short actions, the 6.5 Creedmoor, and sized the neck down to grip a sleek .257 caliber projectile. What you get is a cartridge that flies like an absolute laser beam. We are talking about pushing 85 to 110 grain bullets at blistering velocities, easily breaking that 3,200 feet per second barrier. If you are out calling coyotes, foxes, or bobcats, this translates to virtually zero holdover and wind deflection that is practically non-existent. Put the crosshairs on the fur, press the trigger, and it is lights out. Plus, with proper bullet selection, it is absolutely devastating on medium game like pronghorn and whitetail. Recoil is incredibly soft, which is a massive tactical advantage when you are trying to stay on the glass to spot your own impacts or send a rapid follow-up shot on a moving target. At this moment, it still leans a bit toward the custom side of the house. You will primarily spot this chambering in high-end AR-10 builds or heavily accurized bolt guns. But when you feed it modern projectiles like the Hornady ELDVT or the Berger VLD, the tissue destruction is something you have to see to believe. Since the big box stores haven't flooded the aisles with it yet, you will be sourcing from specialty loaders. Prices generally float around $60 to $95 for 20 rounds. For the shooter who values blistering speed and surgical accuracy above all else, the .25 Creedmoor is an absolute scalpel. Number 2. 360 Buckhammer. At number 2, we are taking a beloved piece of American firearms heritage and dragging it kicking and screaming into the modern era. Let's talk about the 360 Buckhammer. This is a brand new straight-wall cartridge, engineered to completely revitalize the traditional lever-action platform. As more jurisdictions restrict hunters to straight-wall cases during deer season, the folks at Remington stepped up to the plate and knocked it out of the park. This round was precision-engineered to feed flawlessly through those side-loading Gate Henry rifles and the classic Marlin 336 actions that so many of us learned to shoot on. Imagine the iconic 30-30 Winchester, but heavily injected with modern ballistic steroids. You are hurling a heavy, flat-nosed chunk of lead, usually in that 180 to 200 grain neighborhood, with serious kinetic energy out to the 200-yard line. It outpenetrates and outranges those old-school cowboy loads, making it the ultimate tool for dropping thick-skinned black bear or big bucks down in the deep timber. If your hunts take place in dense brush or heavy hardwoods, this cartridge was made for you. You get to enjoy that incredibly satisfying, nostalgic mechanical action of running a lever gun, but backed by a projectile that actually mushrooms perfectly and anchors game on the spot. Guys who run loading presses are absolutely thrilled with it too, thanks to a very straightforward and forgiving case design. Factory ammunition is steadily taking over shelf space, typically running you $35 to $50 a box. They don't just call it the lever for nothing. The 360 Buckhammer is living proof that you absolutely do not need a tactical chassis to run a highly lethal modern hunting system. Number 1. 400 Legend. Taking the crown at number 1, we have the undisputed heavy hitter for restricted hunting zones, the 400 Legend. In the industry, we call this bad boy the regulatory, because it was explicitly designed to absolutely rule the woods in straight-wall restricted states. The engineers at Winchester evaluated the massive success of the 350 Legend and realized that some shooters simply demanded a bigger sledgehammer. The 400 Legend answers that call by sending a massive 40 caliber projectile downrange. We are looking at serious bullet weights here, ranging from 190 all the way up to 215 grains. When that chunk of metal leaves the muzzle, it is packing well over 2,200 foot-pounds of kinetic energy. That is the definition of profound stopping power. It carries devastating lethal force well beyond the 200-yard marker, which, let's be honest, covers about 99% of practical straight-wall hunting environments anyway. You can easily drop this into a rugged bolt action for sheer reliability, or you can build out a heavy-thumping AR-15 if you prefer the advantages of a modern semi-automatic platform. The wound channels this thing creates are absolutely cavernous, making it my top recommendation for massive Midwestern whitetail, aggressive feral hogs, and large black bears. And remarkably, despite the massive energy transfer, the felt recoil is incredibly manageable. It is significantly softer on the shoulder than running heavy 12-gauge Foster slugs. For the hunter locked into compliance laws who refuses to compromise on terminal ballistics, This is your primary weapon system. Ammunition from Winchester and other major players is flowing steadily into the market, usually sitting right between $35 and $55 for 20 rounds. When you need true big-bore authority combined with 21st century efficiency, the 400 Legend sets the new benchmark. So there you have it, folks. We just walked through 5 distinct cartridge profiles that span the entire tactical and hunting spectrum, from whisper-quiet precision work to absolutely flattening large game. Whether you are pushing deep into the high-altitude backcountry or posting up in a freezing tree stand out in Ohio, there is a specialized tool right here to get the job done right. Drop down into the comments right now and let me know, which one of these platforms are you trusting to fill your tag this season? If you found this intel valuable, do me a favor. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. Stay safe, keep your powder dry, shoot straight, and I will see you out on the range.